So this is obviously very densely populated. So we can go ahead and change the density here to say we want 15 of these meshes instead of 50. And you'll see that that looks much better. We'll also scale all of these meshes randomly so as to get a more natural look. We'll go from a minimum scale of, let us say 0.7 to a maximum scale of 1.4. So all of these different trees are going to be randomly scaled in that range now to give you a good distribution, okay? So that is one part of the scene setup that I wanted to show. I don't think yesterday we got to show the HDRI sky system, okay? So we only played around with the dynamic sky settings where we're able to change the time of day and so on. There's also this other sky mode. It's called the HDRI sky mode. And if you don't know about this already, what this does is basically it takes an image, and as you can see, that's our image. It takes an HDRI image and uses that as the backdrop and also as a source of light. Okay, so we could choose from a variety of different HDRI images. In this case, we have this library of HDRI images that we've pre-populated in the application for you, but you're also free to choose your own. So for instance, you can go to this really useful resource called HDRI Haven and browse some of these HDRIs. And these are all licensed under the Creative Commons license. So that means you're free to use this even for commercial purposes, okay? So you can download one of these files, whatever it is that you like, and you'll get what is called a .hdr file format, okay? And then you can click this file browser button here, and a file dialog opens where you'll be able to select any .hdr file, okay? And then you can just import that in as well. I'm not going to show that here, but that is something that you can do. There is this another very interesting feature that I'd like to show to you guys. So usually when you import an HDRI, there is one single source of light usually. And if I open this up, here we have this slider called, or this option called the sun position, okay? So we can click this eyedropper button here and open up this HDRI, right? And you see this yellow icon here, that's the position of the sun. And you can click on this image just like that. And I'm going to choose this point over here to be my source of sunlight and apply. And that just takes care of aligning the light actor, the directional light actor that is going to be internal to the scene, and align that up with the image as well. Okay, so that is a really useful feature. So I'll just show you a few more of these HDRs. So we could, for instance, use this really urban looking HDR image that would place our 3D model in that context. As you can see here now, we are placed in this context. Obviously, you'll need to account for the scaling of these other HDRI images as well. So you'll need to pick out something that works well with your scene, or if you are using some sort of a capturing system to actually capture the scene of your building, you could do that as well. So that is just another HDRI backdrop. So we can just leave it at this for now. Yeah. And one more thing that I wanted to show was the exporter mode. Okay, this is also not something that we went into yesterday. We did go into the photo and the video modes, but not this web VR. So before that, I'll just show you this camera bookmark system, which also we did not go into yesterday. So if we drop down over here, we'll see that we're using this default camera currently, right? And let's say we wanted to save this camera location for further use. Let's say when we go into the exporter. what we can do is we can click on this add new camera button here, and it'll give us a new camera. Okay, and I can name this camera whatever I want. So in this instance, I'm going to name it cam1. And now if we see, we have two cameras, cam1 being the newly defaulted camera now. And we can move around using our default camera and maybe lose that camera position like that. And at any given point of time, click cam1 and it'll take us back there. Okay, so I'm going to use that, and I'll create another camera bookmark, let us say from right here. Okay, so now I have, in addition to my default camera, I have two cameras, cam1 and cam2. And now when I go to the exporter, those cameras are still going to be available to me. Okay, so if I wanted to create one photo render from one of those locations, I can click cam1. It's going to take me to that location, and I can, I'm sorry, I was in the video mode. I can capture it from that location, and I can go to camera 2 again. And add a new photo frame at that location. Okay, so this is quite a useful feature when you want to bookmark your cameras. Now this last exporter mode, this is something that was not shown yesterday, and I'll just demo this real quick. Okay, so this is the WebVR exporter. What this essentially does is it takes your 3D model and publishes that to the web, and you'll end up with a link to that 3D model that's navigable on a mobile browser. Okay. As you can see here, I've added a walk already, and a walk consists of a lot of different hotspots. So if you can see these circular things, these are hotspots. And the way to place these hotspots, I'll just show you by adding a new walk. I've added a walk. This walk has no hotspots currently. I use my add hotspot tool over there, and then just start clicking around on your 3D model. Okay. And each of these hotspots that I'm adding here, I'm not sure if you're able to see this clearly. Each of these hotspots is going to be a navigable location once I export this. Okay. So I add in a bunch of hotspots, and I say, yes, I want to save that. And then able to export by clicking this button. Okay, I can either export it locally to my hard disk, or I can export to Renderpub Spaces. Here I'm signed in as Prithviraj. I can sign out here, in which case I won't be able to export. I can add a description and then hit this export button, and it exports and gives me a link. Okay. Once that happens, I'll show you what the published WebVR scene looks like. So it's the same scene that I have published to a preview of Renderpub Spaces. Okay, as you can see, this is on the web browser, and from here on, I click on any of these hotspots that I had previously defined in my application and move to that location. And this you can share with anyone, any of your clients or other stakeholders as well, and they will be able to use this or have this sort of interactive 3D walkthrough from their mobile devices or laptops as well. They will not be required to have a discrete graphic card for this. Okay, so this is very interesting. It's very interesting because currently what you're seeing is just a single player mode in which there is just me and I'm navigating the space. But in our roadmap, we have this feature where we're going to be building a multiplayer version of this. So what that will mean essentially is that you can share this with a client or any other stakeholder, your friends perhaps, and you and them, whoever has this link, will be able to interact with the space simultaneously. You will be able to see your friend in that other location. When I say you will be able to see your friend, you'll probably be able to see an avatar or some sort of a marker of your friend. Okay, it could be a video frame that you could be on a video chat with that friend with, and things like that. Yeah, so this is all I have for today, I think. Let me just check. Are we missing anything for today? So here I've gone back to my editor, and pretty much all of the other features have been, I think, already covered. We can maybe cover a few of these post-process settings here. We can slightly increase the brightness of the scene. It's starting to look a little bit dark. I'll make this 2.5. I'll just go wild with it to show you what that looks like. Yeah, and another feature that I wanted to show was this shadow softness feature. Okay, so you see this shadow softness slider here, right? So as you can see now, see this shadow of this chair, it looks pretty sharp. I can increase that to, let's say, 0.05, and then it'll start looking much softer. So it's perhaps more visible over here. At 0, you can see that each leaf is casting a very crisp shadow like this. And as we increase that slider, it's very sensitive. So I'll make it 0.05. You get that sort of a smudged soft shadow look. Okay, this is just to give you artistic control over your renders. Yeah, so this is it for today. It's, like I said, a short session. Now, Yash, if you had any questions, you can shoot them here in the chat, or you could hop on to our Discord channels as well, and start a thread, start a conversation with any of our devs there as well. Vishwant, do you have? All right, great, no questions, fantastic. If you do, in any case, I'll just drop a link to our Discord server here, so you can always ask us later as well, okay? Give me a second here to drop. Yes, Vishwant, we're done for the day. This is going to be a really short session, yes. Can someone send the link to our Discord channels, please? And also another thing that I wanted to go over was the product roadmap, okay? So the product roadmap, currently we have a few things, few features that we are looking to introduce. And in any case, we're going to be building that over, in collaboration with the inputs that we get from you guys, all of our initial users, students of NASA. So again, the Discord channel is where you guys can, request for features that you are going to be finding useful and so on. But apart from that, the product roadmap currently looks like this. So we are, I don't think we've demoed the direct link capabilities. That will probably be out, by the time we have our product in public beta. So you will have direct link capabilities between SketchUp, Revit, Rhino, ArchiCAD, 3ds Max, and Navisworks. Okay. What that means, what direct link plugin means is that, let's say you're creating a scene in SketchUp, without having to export your scene, you will be able to bring in your geometries and your textures into a side-by-side Renderpub video, Renderpub instance, and any changes that you make in your modeling application like SketchUp will be automatically and instantly reflected back in this application. Okay. So that is something that you can expect to be in place by the time this product is available in public beta. Okay. And there's this another ray tracing feature here that I don't think we've shown. This will only work if you have an RTX grade GPU, but it's really cool. It's called the path tracer. So what you'll do is you'll go into this view modes and scroll all the way to the bottom here and check path tracing. And the path tracing renderer kicks in and it'll give you this really close to sort of reality or the ground truth of what lighting should look like in your scene. Okay, so this path tracer here is sort of comparable to an offline renderer like V-Ray, for instance. It is supposed to simulate the bouncing of light in your scene so accurately that that is as close to a simulation as you can get. Okay, whereas if you go back to the lit mode, you are back to having interactive frame rates like this. And if you're in the path tracing mode, each time you move your camera, your scene is going to start looking blurry like this, and it's going to have to reconverge. Okay, so I'll just show you. I'm moving my camera, and as you can see, it starts to blur out, and then it'll just converge back when I stop my camera. Okay, so you can use this feature to really quickly get a sense for what your final lighting should look like. So in comparison to my path tracer here, you'll see that there's a lot of darkness that I have to take care of, right, in my vegetation and in my building as well. So that is an indicator for me to perhaps increase my brightness a little bit, or maybe increase my sunlight intensity. There's various ways to get around that, but that's always a good indicator that you guys can check before you finally render out your scenes. All right, guys, that's all for today. And I'm just dropping our Telegram link in the chats as well. We're reachable there also. This is a link to our YouTube channel,